Huskies will get the ball at least to begin the second half. Jimmy McClam's return out to the 28. This is going to be one of their better starting spots all night. They have time and time again turned the short field over the Mountaineers, and Pat White's taken advantage, really more with his legs than his arm.
This looked like Marcus Vick at times, as you pointed out in the second quarter. Lefty, he can run. This play right here showed a lot.
You know what? I might have to say he looked like Michael Vick. That one.
Yeah, one of the Vicks. But the guy really has maybe the best play, and the team would say it was the heel back block when Slayton was coming around the corner. That was the biggest play of the night.
That haze still hanging over the stadium because of the halftime cannon and fireworks show. Most fireworks shows you expect after the game, but there might not be that many folks to see it after this game. So
battlefield decision here. Go at halftime, save them, the expense of nobody being around after the game.
It's not fog here in the Appalachian Mountains. It's all man-made here. Second down at 6. Terry Cawley trying to get some semblance of a Husky running game. They're at -12 on the ground.
And you see that right there. That's an indication the slobber knockers missing at UConn tonight. And this is a chance for them up front, offensive line, to play hard, play physical, play with pride.
And get a third down. They were 1 of 8 converting third downs in the first half.
Heck, they had one series where they had a 5-play drive, and that was it.
Freshman Dennis Brown keeping, dragged down at the 31. Another 3-and-out. Jay Henry, the junior middle linebacker from Tulsa, Oklahoma, who has never made a B in his life.
Well, what fun would that be?
I, for one, cannot relate to it.
No. Yeah. Hey, Dave, you've taken me by your fraternity house. You had no shot at it.
Not many 4 points happened under that roof.
Yeah, they were just a room full added together.
Jay Henry, in 111 hours, the junior athletically, and the closest he's come to a B, an 89.6. Big return here. Antonio Lewis with a flag at the end of the return. And again, we wait for this indication. The Mountaineers have a chance to start yet another possession in UConn territory, as McClam is down for UConn, their return specialist. It will come back on a West Virginia hold.
During the return, holding number 8 of the return team. 10 guys who spotted a foul. It will be first down.
Tondi Smith guilty of the hold for the Mountaineers. This was more friendly fire here. McClam injured by his own man.
Yeah, bodies flying around up in the clouds right now.
Looked like Sean Main, who ran into McClam, who is still down at his 47-yard line. Holly Rowe, you had a chance to talk to both coaches at the half.
That's right, and Randy Edsall was very frank. He said, that wasn't very good in the first half, was it? I said, no. But he said what they're trying to work on here are the little things. He said, we just have to get something small going and build on that. He said they've just got too much team speed for us right now. And for Rich Rodriguez, he told his team in the locker room, hey, remember Louisville. What he's referring to, they were down big against Louisville at halftime just like this, and they came back and won that game. So he's reminding his guys, hey, we were able to come back and win it. Watch out for UConn to do the same. Don't let your foot up off that gas pedal.
Well, Holly, I have to tell you, as a former player, those guys at West Virginia are saying, hey, Coach, are you kidding me?
Well, he's got to say something.
Yeah.
Please keep him alert for the second half.
And Rich knows that. He's a former player. A team knows when they've got it and they should win. And right now, West Virginia does. Now, Randy Edsall is dead straight on. And hopefully his team is hearing him. This is a great chance for Connecticut to get better.
Pernell Williams on the carry. Good to see Marvin Taylor back. He was injured briefly in the first half for UConn. 2nd down and 7. Pat White all the way at quarterback. Williams on the pitch. Nice open field tackle. Marvin Taylor is there to stop Williams, a yard shy of a first.
Well, I've been on these safeties all night, and they're just playing too soft and deep. But when you look back here, look just for yourself, evaluate. Once run is made, and you know that it's there, did you see the breakdown? I mean, it's just there has to be. It's maybe not lack of effort, but it's not getting there.
Well, he got there. It was just
8 yards
1 yard shy of the first down. They give to the fullback, Schmidt, who has himself a touchdown, and he's got himself a first down here at midfield.
I think what I'm trying to point out here is I'm not wanting to poke at the safeties at Connecticut as much as I'm wanting to show you the fine line between being really good defensively and not. And in a game like this, if you're up 2 or 3 yards quicker and stronger, then you're hitting them. You can't absorb and let it happen 8 yards down the field.
West Virginia, almost 3/4 of the time, has run the ball this year. You think of a spread offense, you think of a team that's thrown it around everywhere. But Rich Rodriguez says, as Williams carries, I don't care at all about stats. If I have to run it every play and I win, I'll run it every play.
He's a good coach, and there was a perception that maybe they used to be, the spread out, run, throwing it around. Man, this team here they will pin it back and run the football.
200 total yards, only 39 of them have been through the air. As the left-hander White rolls right and fires complete to Darrell Jallow, who's 2 yards shy of the first down at the 42. Rich Rodriguez has seen his offense become really, I think you'd have to say, the system around the country, the most imitated coach in football, with the spread spreading to so many different programs who have not only studied it from him, but studied it from the people who studied it from Rich Rodriguez. I mean, they're going,
there's a lot of studying going on.
Randy Walker now gets a lot of credit because people are coming to Northwestern and learning his system. He learned it from West Virginia, and it's second and third versions are now getting out there around the country.
But yet Rodriguez said the bummer is the big schools now are kind of doing what we're doing, so all these schools are being studied now, and you're figuring out ways, the big schools, of how to stop it. A lot more focus on how to go out and to stop these offenses that spread you out.
Well, as is so often the case, it's not that Rodriguez sat up in his ivory tower and said, I'm going to invent an offense that everybody around the country will want to imitate. It was born, Holly, out of a program at Glenville State here in West Virginia that Rich Rodriguez says was winless and will get a standing ovation if they just make a first down. That was what he was originally trying to work on.
That's right, and it was actually kind of a mistake in practice. He said, bless his heart, we had a quarterback that ran like a 5.40. He wasn't very fast, but one day in practice, we had him in the shotgun, and he just forgot to hand it off. We saw that he had a gain there. We saw what the defensive end did, and that was the birth of the zone read. It was a mistake in practice.
Zone read, not necessary here. It's just turning and taking it on the boot by Pat White, who's got another first down. So you've seen how an accident has turned into, in a lot of cases, the key play in this spread system.
Watch the sell. This isn't the zone read, but this will give you a feeling for backside what happens when you really sell something going one direction and the pressure it puts on the backside in the pursuit. And so, we see it in the NFL with Peyton Manning, right? How good he is with putting that football out there and selling and getting the defense to run hard to the ball, and the overcommitment the defense makes.
This is Darius Butler, redshirt freshman corner from Tamarack, Florida. Willis McGahee's cousin. The most imitated NFL offense, the West Coast offense, most credit to Bill Walsh. And it was born when he took over a terrible Cincinnati Bengals team. And just like Rich Rodriguez at Glenville State, he said, my biggest problem wasn't sitting back and grandly designing an offense that everybody would eventually imitate. It was, how is this team going to get a first down against an NFL defense? So he figured short ball control passing was their best chance. They didn't figure they could run it on anybody, but they figured they could throw it for 4, 5, 8, 10 yards at a time. And, back from way in the early 70s to now, that offense continues to multiply and mutate around the NFL and in college football as well. The West Coast offense, born because he couldn't think of anything else that would work.
What I thought was interesting, and you talk about learning and studying, Joe Paterno sending his Penn State staff to the University of Texas last summer to spend a week with the Longhorn staff. And these staffs get together and they're competitors, but yet they learn and they study from each other.
Brandon Miles on this drive, just the second pass, 8 rushes by Pernell Williams, and the MJ E-step, the backup to Taylor Free safety, is there for the tackle.
So the Penn State coaching staff watches how that zone read is run by Vincent Young at Texas, and that's pretty powerful. And then all of a sudden, Michael Robinson at Penn State has a way of learning, and they study and they figure out how they can take advantage of the players that best suits their talents on their team.
That reminds me, though, of when the offense of the 70s, the wishbone, started at Texas, and people were coming down to learn it from Darrell Royal, and Duffy Daugherty came down from Michigan State and said, I want to study and get your offense. As White scrambles and is belted at the 15, and Royal told Duffy Daugherty, I think as much as my offense, what you really want is my fullback. With Steve Worcester, and was the first option in the triple option. If you got Vince Young, any offense is going to look good.
Absolutely. I thought Vincent Young last week put himself at the top of the Heisman ballot to lose now. It's his to lose. And he single-handedly salvaged that game, brought his team back with his legs. He willed them to victory, which gave them a shot still in the national championship.
McAfee on to try. A 33-yarder. Vince Young, the first Texas Longhorn ever to have 500 total yards. 506, just the 7th quarterback ever to have a 200-yard passing and rushing game. McAfee is good here. West Virginia adds to the lead with 6:47 to go in the third. 38-3 Mountaineers. Now, if I heard you right, in a game that cost Texas a couple of first-place votes in the polls, brought you around from Reggie Bush, and you've been a Reggie Bush guy all year for the Heisman. Now you're a Vince Young guy.
I thought Vince Young, again, was one of those guys in a particular game that his team had no chance of winning. And he was so much better than Oklahoma State. Those players could do nothing about him bringing the Longhorns back. And had he not done that, and had he not had the legs and the ability, the Longhorns wouldn't be looking at playing for the national championship.
Yeah, they would. They had no doubt whatsoever, and because they had Vince Young on the sideline, they all said after they fell behind for the 3rd straight year, Oklahoma State, at no point did they think they were going to lose, because last year, as Butler returns, wasn't down long. Last year, they came from 35-7 down, and that's the point Mac Brown made at the half. He said, this was much worse last year. We can handle this, and they scored 38 straight this year, 49 straight last year. They never doubted.
Who was the guy that led them back in those comebacks?
Same guy.
A guy named Vincent Young, and Vincent Young is just different. Watching him against Michigan in the Rose Bowl last year, I stood on the sidelines and was amazed at what he did. And the fact that he can go out there and run away from guys is just unbelievable.
Well, he looks good when he runs the spread. He'd look good in the single wing, the veer, whatever you put him in. A strike over the middle. Brandon Young with the catch. You got Vince Young, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. I think if you're a political analyst, you might figure that the West Coast vote has got to be split between Bush and Leinart, and that's got to be a huge edge for Young.
Yeah, they're going to split a lot of votes out west between those two. And I don't know. I always go back to this. Most outstanding football player. Bush is one. Leinart's one. Young is one. 3 good candidates.
You're finally over where I've been. The way I've seen Vince Young is he can do what Reggie Bush does, but he also has been one of the top 2 or 3 rated quarterbacks. People thought he couldn't pass. His passer rating has been right at the top, almost at Leinart's level all year.
But sometimes, Dave, we sit and watch Young, and he couldn't throw the ball and hit the bleachers.